Thanks for this introduction and also for this opportunity to share, to exchange ideas and to get some idea of what is happening in Ireland. Okay, I will focus my presentation in nutrient pollution from agriculture and the EU objective on nutrients. The 4 points that I will develop in this presentation are the Nitrates Directive, also the situation of the nutrient pollution in the EU. I will also explain 3 slides on the situation in Ireland in accordance with the information provided by the monitoring network under the Nitrates Directive. And the 4th point will focus in the EU's nutrient objectives, which are set by the biodiversity and farm-to-fork strategies. To begin with the Nitrates Directive, the main objective of the Nitrates Directive is to reduce and to prevent further pollution of nutrients from agriculture. This is its main objective. Is that not set a deadline for achieving its objective? What are the obligations under the Nitrates Directive? There are 2 different approaches that the member states can take to comply with the Nitrates Directive. First approach, or one of the options, is set the following obligation, which is set an appropriate monitoring network related to agriculture, to nutrients from agriculture, the identification of polluted waters, its designation of nitrate vulnerable zones, which are considered as polluted, where pollution has been spotted. Afterwards, the adoption of the Code of Good Agricultural Practices, which are voluntary measures outside MBSETs. The next action will be the adoption of action programs, which are mandatory and necessary to be adopted within MBSETs. And last obligation is reporting. Every 4 years, member states must submit a report to the Commission with reporting on several aspects, such as water quality, monitoring network, and so on and so forth. As for Ireland and other member states, they have adopted this whole territory approach, which involves the obligation of first monitoring the state of waters. There are mainly nitrate concentration in water, in groundwater bodies, and nitrate concentration in surface water bodies, and also trophic status in surface water bodies. It's a member state decides to take this approach, they adopt an action program for the whole territory. It involves that it's considered that this action, this reinforcing measure will be applied to the whole territory, as is the case of Ireland. And it's also the obligation of reporting every 4 years on this aspect under the Nitrates Directive, which are the monitoring network, the state of the water, the measures. Well, now I'm going to pass to explain the point 2, which is the current situation on nitrate pollution in the EU. In October 2021, it was adopted the report from the Commission to the Council and the European Parliament on the implementation of the Nitrates Directive. It's every 4 years. This last report covered the reporting period 2016 and 2019. And well, here there is a link, the date of the adoption, which I already said. And let's go to the main findings. Here, represented all the member states. There is a comparison between the last 2 reporting periods. And this graph provides information on the percentage of groundwater bodies reporting values above 50 milligrams, which is the threshold to consider that a water body is polluted by nitrate concentration. As in the middle, I could use this one, but online is not going to be observed. EE correspond AE correspond to Ireland. You can see here we can compare the stable situation between the last two reporting periods. In some member states, in some of them there is an increase of this share. In other member states, there is a decrease in the number of monitoring stations. This map, this information can be found, this map graphics can be found all in the report on the implementation of the Nitrates Directive. Here we can see, I understand that the figure cannot be seen from there, but in colors they represent the different branches in accordance with the nitrates concentration. The points in green are monitoring station reporting values below 25, and the points in red report monitoring stations reporting values above 50 milligrams per liter, polluted body water bodies. And here we can see they are highlighted only the monitoring points reporting pollution. We can see where it is in Europe. We can find that the water pollution in groundwater bodies, where it's focused, where are the main hotspots of nitrates pollution in Europe. As I repeat, this is only for groundwater. Now we pass to in this slide I show the second issue related, second main issue related to nutrient pollution from agriculture, which is eutrophication. This map shows per region, per node 2, which correspond to regions, the share per each region of monitoring points reporting eutrophic status. As you can see, there is in some member states with there is a high share of monitoring station reporting a high degree. In other areas, I don't know if the figure can be observed from there, but green colors report a low share of eutrophic monitoring station, and blue and violet and purple colors show high percentages of monitoring station reporting eutrophic status. Here we can see also, to compare rivers in Europe, there is information from almost all member states. There is an horizontal red line, which corresponds to the value 36, which is the average in the EU of rivers, of monitoring station in rivers reporting eutrophication. Here we can compare in which member states values are above this average, and which member state report values below this average. In the case of Ireland, this average is below the EU. Next diagram, here I'm showing the trophic status in lakes, which is the average is 32%. This red line represents, the horizontal red line represents the EU average in the lakes, in the European lakes. And we can see also where in some member states there is a huge share of monitoring stations reporting eutrophication, almost all of them in some cases. Here it's interesting to compare these values. As regards coastal waters, again, the average is 32, and for marine waters, it's, we will see afterwards, it's 32, and here also we can compare, and we can, all these slides show that eutrophication is a major issue in the EU. So currently it's a major issue of pollution in the EU by nutrients. And this last slide on eutrophication show the average per each type of water body in the EU. The averages of monitoring station reporting either eutrophication or risk of eutrophication, which is the category could become eutrophic. And highlight the fact that action needs to be taken to reduce these shares of polluted waters, because it has a stronger, as you know, a stronger impact on biodiversity, for instance. Well, some conclusion of this report. The designation of polluted areas has increased from between the last two reporting periods, has increased by 14.4%. Some member states need to, there are still a number of monitoring points outside MBZ. If a monitoring point is outside MBZ, means that it's not subject to additional and enforcing measures, so the situation is not likely to improve. So it's essential that there is a number of member states which has a high number of monitoring points reporting eutrophication outside MBZ, and this requires further designation because additional measures have to be adopted in that areas. This seems okay. Well, the conclusion is that there are two positive conclusions. Is that it's clear that the Nitrates Directive has had a positive impact on water quality. Over the last 30 years, it has 31 years, the Nitrates Directive. And groundwater has improved since the adoption, but since 2012, this adoption has stagnated. This improvement has stagnated and requires additional action. And the third conclusion is that eutrophication is a major issue that needs to be addressed, because as we have seen, there is a high share of number of monitoring stations reporting eutrophication in all kinds of water bodies. And the water quality data also show that the current level of implementation and enforcement in the member states are not enough to achieve the current objectives of the Nitrates Directive. Some member states also, there is a list, but not listed here, but there is a list of member states which need to better manage nutrient losses from agriculture, because they have reporting pollution in an important number of monitoring stations. And also there are a list of member states that where pollution in hotspots is not sufficiently addressed. So this involves the third point, which is the consequence that these member states need to urgently address and take the necessary measures within the action programs and to achieve this objective of the Nitrates Directive. Now just 3 slides in Ireland. This, I'm going just to this is under these maps gets from the nitrate report. It's working. Can you hear me? Okay. Under the nitrates report. And this monitoring network is linked to agricultural activity. It's not, it's specifically for agricultural activity. And here we can see in groundwater quality, there is a worsening. This slide in the slide worsening in the numbers, but we can see that the monitoring station reporting values below 25 has decreased over between both last reporting periods, and it has increased the share of monitoring points between 25 and 40, which is not still pollution. As regards surface water quality, this is related to nutrients concentration. The values are in general good. There is not no monitoring points with high values and with values above 50 milligrams per liter. And as regards eutrophication, trophic status, we can see that the number of the share of monitoring station reporting eutrophication has increased by 1%, but also the share of monitoring station reporting risk of eutrophication has decreased from the last reporting period to the last one. As I said, this is under the monitoring network under the Nitrates Directive. As a summary of the figures, 2% of groundwater monitoring points and groundwater exceed 50 milligrams per liter. It's 1.5 something. It's a rounding. Surface water monitoring points 0%, so there is no issue in this. And the share of monitoring station reporting eutrophication is 14%. As regards the conclusion of the nitrates report for Ireland, livestock density is above the EU average. Also, phosphorus, the surplus of phosphorus is above the EU average. In the case of nitrogen surplus, this is the information we have we publish. And as regards the surplus of nitrogen is close to the EU average, the monitoring network is sufficiently elaborated. It covers sufficiently this pollution from agriculture. Groundwater, with the exception of a number of monitoring points reporting pollution, it's generally good so far. And surface water feature good water quality. And the eutrophication is still within limited numbers. These are the conclusions that can be found in the staff working document to the nitrates report. Annex to that. As a recommendation, the Commission encourages Ireland to continue to address these hotspots of areas which are showing increasing trends as regards nitrate concentration. And now I'm going for the fourth point of the presentation. And we have here that in December 2019, the European Green Deal, the communication of the European Green Deal, which mentioned the Integrated Nutrient Management Action Plan. It was also announced in the two strategies, the Biodiversity and Farm to Fork strategy. And also in the last year, in May 2021, the Zero Pollution Action Plan announced also the Integrated Nutrient Management Action Plan, which is now in process of development, whose adoption is planned yet, not for the end of this year. So I'm going to explain the EU Biodiversity Strategy. I'm going to go fast in this slide, explain how nutrients have a particularity, as you all know, that are essential for life, are essential for food, but it's excess who made them to become pollutants. But here and explain how biodiversity is suffering, among others, for the excess of nutrients and the need to reduce this pressure, and set this objective, which is the 50% reduction by 2030 of nutrient losses, which will lead to 20%, expected to lead to a 20% reduction in the use of fertilizers. As the Farm to Fork strategy, also the excess of nutrients explain the impact we have on soil, water, and air pollution, and the need to address and to tackle with this issue. and also set the same objective, explain the same objective of 50% reduction of nutrient losses, and as a consequence, reduction by 20% by 2030 in the use of mineral fertilizers. Now, this, let's say, the Integrated Nutrient Management Action Plan is under development. The action plan is intended to complement the Zero Pollution Action Plan for water, air, and soil. It was announced in the European Green Deal, as explained before. It will look at all environmental sections, namely water, soil, and also to all, it's not only related to agriculture, it will look at different relevant economic sectors, namely agriculture, industry, transport, waste, and so on and so forth. The context of the INMAP, this is a figure in the European Nitrogen Assessment, is that there is an issue with phosphorus. Well, this concept of planetary boundaries is in Europe they are surpassed by 2 in the case of phosphorus and by 3.3 in the case of nitrogen. And just to finish, it is already published in the Have Your Say portal. The public consultation for beginning of June 2022, it will be published. The public consultation will be for 12 weeks, and any input is welcome to this INMAP public consultation. Any aspect related to nutrients, any contribution is welcome. Here you can see how it's the website, and it's going to change by the first week of June, and you can submit all your input, your feedback, and thank you very much for your attention, and looking forward to the question and answer.